Hi dear, what if I told you that you can get more exclusive and more exciting content? You can become a Hokage in a hidden village of lonely Kunoichi. For that, you just need to go to my boosty. The link will be in the description.
In a village that is surrounded by trees known as Konoha or the Leaf Village, and in this village there was an angry mob chasing a red-haired child, and he was called Naruto, and he had 3 whisker-like birthmarks in his cheeks and was around 5 years of age. Then the child turned into an alleyway hoping he would lose the mob, but it did work. Then before he knew it, he was pinned to a wall in a crucified manner, and the last thing he saw was a shinobi, with silver hair that defied gravity, pulling out 2 kunais from his pouch and throw them at him while aiming for his eye. Then the mob started to attack the child, who had passed out due to shock. Meanwhile, inside Naruto's mind woke up in a sewer, and he said, "Where am I? This is your mindscape kit." A female voice was heard. Naruto looks around and asks in a scared manner, "Who there and who are you?" "Someone that has been with you since the day you was born and is very sorry with how your life has been," the voice replied. "What do you mean?" Naruto asked. "I'll tell you when we met. Now come to me," came the reply. "So which way do I go?" Naruto asked. "It doesn't matter, all paths lead you to where I am," the voice answered. "I see," Naruto said before walking off in a random direction. In what feels like a 15-minute walk, Naruto finds himself in front of a cage that held what seemed to be a creature that had a pair of crimson fox eyes. Then the creature said, "I see you are here, Kit. Well, you did say you will answer my questions if I came here, and I want to know who you are. What did you mean that you have been with me since my birthday?" Naruto said. "Well, to put it in a way that you will understand, I am Kurama the Nine-Tailed Fox, and I am sealed in you, and that happened on the day you was born," the fox said as she reviled herself. Naruto looks like he was about to cry as he said, "So the villagers are right, I am a demon." Before Kurama could say anything, there was a flash of light, and when it died, there stood a girl that had long silver hair and dark blue eyes, and she was wearing a long white coat with the sleeves rolled up with a black vest underneath, as well as a pink ruffled ascot with a sky blue gem in the center, and white gloves. She was also wearing a pale olive green capris and midshin black boots, and she said, "Now that isn't true. You are just a human boy that has been dealt a hand because someone wants to control something that is long forbidden." Kurama was in a state of shock upon seeing the girl, and she said, "Anna Cross, what are you doing here?" Anna turns to the fox and says, "I was sent here to offer you both something." Naruto looked at the two, then asked, "You two know each other?" "Of course we do. After all, she is like me before her original form went made, and both her sons had to do something to stop her," Anna said. "And what are you?" Naruto asked. "I am what you would an avatar," Anna said. "And what is an avatar?" Naruto asked. "An avatar is a being that has been created by a god/goddess own power, as a way around their own rules to keep their creation in check or to keep balance, as well as protect humans from things that are beyond what human can handle," Kurama answered. "I see. So what do you offer us?" Naruto said, not really understanding what was said. "Well, for you a way to see," Anna said, then turned to Kurama. "And you, Kurama, freedom and your whole power back. So, what do I have to do to get my freedom back, also on one condition?" Kurama asked. "Well, that all depends on Naruto, and if he agrees, then I will ask what your condition is. Then I will have to speak to Kami and see if she will agree," Anna said. "Well, that is better than a straight-up no," Kurama said. Then they both turned their attention back to Naruto. When Naruto saw that both beings was looking at him, the first thing he said was, "Wait, I'm blind, but I can see also Kami is a girl." "Well, yes, seeing as he is my creator and an avatar take the gender of their creator," Emma said. Then she gave a big sigh, knowing what she is about to say isn't easy, then said, "Unfortunately, because this is your mind, you are able to see, but outside of here that's not the case. So, what would I have to do to see again?" Naruto said. "For you to become a different type of avatar," Emma said. "Huh?" Naruto said with his head tilt. "Before the era of shinobi there was the era of benders," Anna said. Seeing Naruto still have a confused look, she said, "Being that are able to move the element itself. So, what does that have to do with anything?" Naruto asked. "Everything, as humans back then could only use one element, but the avatar is able to use all 4 elements," Anna said. "Don't you mean 5? Naruto said. Emma shook her head and said, "No, I mean 4, and they are air, water, earth, and fire, seeing as lighting is a form of fire back then. So, what would I have to give up if I do become this avatar?" Naruto said, "You would have to give up your chakra, Enna said. And there is no other way for me to see again, Naruto asked. Well, not one that is within the gods' rules. Enna said. I will do it then. I will become a one-of-a-kind ninja. Naruto said. Enna smiled then said, That's good. Then she turned to Kurama and said, So do you want to know what you have to do for your freedom and power back? Yes, I am, Kurama said. You are to be the animal companion to Naruto like all the past avatars had. Enna said, Should have seen that one coming, seeing as the avatar always have an animal companion, Naga with Korra, Appa with Aang, Fang with Roku. Now I will do it that Kami frees my sisters without killing their host and that we can't be sealed ever, Kurama said. Well, as I said, I would have to speak to Kami BTU. I will see what I can do, Enna said before reaching into her pocket and pulls out a glowing orb, and it floats and forms a man that was bold and with a blue arrow on him. Then man looks around and sees Enna. Then he asks, Where am I? Well, Aang, you are in a boy that has had a rough life and has agreed to become Korra's successor. Enna replied as she gestured to Naruto. And what of the beast? Aang asks as he points to Kurama. Don't mind her, as she might leave soon enough, Enna said. I see, and who would teach the boy the other elements? Aang asked. Well, Kami was thinking your wife Katara for water, Iroh for fire, and Toph with earth, as well as how to see. The eye is now blind. Enna said. Now I will leave and get the other souls for Naruto, and to see if Kami will agree to Kurama condition. Then she disappeared in the same manner that she appeared. And Aang turns to Naruto and asked, Are you ready? Ready for what? Naruto asked. For you to start to your journey as the Avatar, Aang replied. Well, I guess, Naruto answered. Then Aang nodded. Then his eyes and arrows began to glow. Then he submerged. Then the water began to glow. Then the water went to Naruto and encased him. Then 5 minutes later the water went back to normal. Naruto shakenly got up and said, Well, I don't want to go thought that again. Well, don't worry. You didn't have to do it again, Aang said before saying, Now as you are new avatar you can't control the elements, so you can't get out, but as you let me, I can get you to safety. Okay, do it, Naruto said as his eyes began to glow. Real world, it has been 5 minutes since Naruto had passed out. Then he woke up with eyes glowing. Then a little tornado surrounding him, destroying the building, freeing Naruto, and the sky darkened, and one of villagers said, Kill the demon, it's gaining its power back. When the wind stopped, Aang stood there. Then he said, That ain't enough, leave now or else. Then a man with pale eyes stepped forward, said, And what are you going to do? You are outnumbered. What might be the case? But you are outmatched now. Step aside, I don't wish to hurt you, and I know Naruto doesn't either. Aang said, You're bluffing, I can see that you don't have chakra, the pale-eyed person said. And yet you see nothing, Aang said before stamping his foot, and a fissure opened up starting at where his foot was. Then he swings his arm, and a gust of wind sent Mob flying out of the alleyway. Just as Aang was out of the alley he was surrounded, but the Umba looking around he sees one, the cat Anbu that actually protected Naruto. Then he said, If you're here then the Hokage Sarutobi is nearby. Then next thing Aang knew, Cat Anbu had her sword at Aang's throat, and she said, How do you know that, and what have you done to Naruto? Easy with that sword, if you hurt me then you hurt Naruto, seeing as I am Naruto, Aang said. Don't lie to me, Naruto is a 5-year-old kid, Nico said. I am not lying, I am Naruto, and you could say I am one of his past lives, Aang said. What do you mean? An old man wearing robes that represent the Hokage. I will explain what I mean in private, Aang answered. Very well, but try anything, Sarutobi said as he led Aang to his office. Like you would do anything, after all you see Naruto as a grandchild, but rest assured, I won't try anything, Aang said when they got to the office. The Hokage sat at his desk, then dismissed the Umbu, then asked, So who are you and what are you? Well, my name is Aang, and I was, or is it, am the Avatar, Aang said. And what is the Avatar? Nico asked as she refused to leave. The Avatar is a being that predates the ninja era than you live now, where there was something similar known as bending, and there were 4 main elements, well 5 if you count energy bending, and all benders can use only one element except for one individual. Aang said. That individual? Al would be the Avatar, Sarutobi asked. Yes, the Avatar is also the bridge to the spirit world as well, Aang said. By what you said there are other elements, Sarutobi asked. That's right, just like your chakra have sub-elements, so did bending, and with a lot of talent and practice you could bend element that are like to that element, Aang said. I see, so why have you come here? Sarutobi asked. Aang gave a sad sigh and asked, Before you mind if I have a seat? And Sarutobi nodded and gestured to The one in front of him. Then once Aang sat, he said, "Well, as you know, there was an attack on Naruto." And the old man nodded. Well, this attack was worse than others. Both Sarutobi and Nico gasped, and the Nico asked, "So what happened?" "Well, I don't know who did it, but they took Naruto's eyes," Aang said, "so he can become a ninja." Sarutobi said in a sad tone, "Now I never said that. I said they made Naruto blind doesn't mean he is helpless." Aang said. Both Nico and the Hokage gained a confused look. And Nico asked, "What do you by that?" "Well, my earth-bending teacher was actually blind and she got around just fine. And she didn't let that stop her as she became one of the best as well as the founder of metal bending," Aang replied. "How did she manage to see then?" Sarutobi asked. "Well, she used her bending to feel the vibrations in the earth," Aang said. "So, like bats with echolocation," Nico said. "That's right, so a god's avatar by the name of Enacross gave Naruto the choice to gain this ability as well as bend the elements to your will or be helpless," Aang said. Great to hear, but what did he have to jive up to be bender?" Sarutobi said. "Well, he had to give up his chakra as chakra and chi cannot coexist, and right now, he is losing the ability to use chakra and in the morning, he will be a bender," Aang said. "Well, if it's his choice then I cannot hold it against anyone, so what happens now?" Sarutobi said, "Well, first I would like some chakra papers so we know where to start as. There is certain way when learning the elements, then I wait for Enna to show up with the other souls, that is to help train Naruto, then tomorrow we leave the village so Naruto can train in peace." Aang said. "I understand, and I take it he will be back when his age group graduates?" Sarutobi asks as he pulls out a piece of paper. "Yes, he will," Aang said, which got a nod from Sarutobi in agreement as Aang was about to channel some of Naruto's chakra into the paper when he was interrupted by a bright light and Enacross stood there with 4 glowing balls, and she ignores Sarutobi and Nico and turned to Aang and said, "I am back. I can see that. So did Kami agree to Kurama's condition?" Aang asked. "She did, seeing as it was a noble request, and I will do that tonight," Enna said as she places one orb in her pocket and managing to balance the other 3 in one hand before she rams them into Naruto's body, and when she pulls out an orb then she brings out the orb that she placed in her pocket and fuses the spheres, then she places it on the ground, then it forms a small fox with red-orange fur and red eyes with long thick black lashes. She also has large ears, small arms and feet, and a fluffy tail. Then she said, "Now Kurama, seeing as you don't have a connection to an element that the Avatar's companion usually has, so Kami gave you a few abilities." "Nice, so what can I do?" Kurama said. "Well, you will have to find that out yourself," Enna said. Then she saw that paper Aang was holding when said, "So have you found out what element Naruto has?" Aang shook his head and said, "No, I was about to when you showed up." Then he channeled some chakra into the paper, and it split, and he said, "So he's starting out as an airbender. Now that is surprising, as the land of fire don't get many wind types. Now you better go, as I am sure Naruto is tired. Also you need to get ready for tomorrow," Sarutobi said. And Aang looks at Enna. Enna sees Aang looking at her and she said, "Go, I need to speak to the old man also to motivate him a bit. Tell him that for each element he masters, Kami will send me to tell him something, and I will tell him more in the morning." And Aang nods. Then he heads out of the office and heads to Naruto's apartment to get a bag ready, and Nico was accompanying him. Sarutobi looks at Enna and asks, "So what do you want to talk about? You are a coward and you have become stupid and weak," Enna said. "Now just wait a minute," Sarutobi said. Enna interrupted the Hokage by saying, "I know what you are going to say, and let me tell you something. You knew that Kushina was the Jinchuriki, and Minato did all he could to keep Kushina safe for those that would want to use the Kyuubi, and yet someone knew and found them when Kushina went in labor. You think someone leaked where the safe house was?" Sarutobi said. "I don't think I know. Someone did, and also it was your student that leaked Naruto's status to the villagers," Enna said, knowing there was only one student of his in the village at the time. Sarutobi said, "Why would he do this to Naruto?" "Simple, he wants to control something that no one has the right to control, to the point that he lied to Kushina, who left the village and took her daughter with her," Enna said. "Wait, you mean to tell me that Kushina is alive? But I saw her body, and she only gave birth to Naruto," Sarutobi said. "No, what you saw was a horrid jutsu called the Death Clone Jutsu, which can change a dead body into another, and Kushina gave birth to twins that night," Enna said. "And how do you know this stuff?" Sarutobi asks. Well, I am the head avatar as my creator ID, the head goddess herself Kami, and she and I are linked so I can do her bidding like when someone think it's a good idea to interfere with a prophecy. Anna explained. Then she said, also how you have been handling Naruto. What do you mean by that? Sarutobi asked. Telling him that you don't know who his parents are. Do you know that he thinks they abandoned him? Anna said. Realizing that Anna was right, bangs his head on his desk and said, what have I done? I need to make it right. You can do that tomorrow. Now I have to go as I have other thing to do. Anna said. Then she left in the manner that she appeared, leaving the old Hokage and thought. Once he was done thinking, he pulls out some paper and writes a note for Kushina to tell her that Anna told him the following day. Sarutobi, Kurenai, Anko, Hana and Nico showed up at the gate ready to say bye to Naruto before he learns all about bending for the next 10 years, and when he did show up it was a teary goodbye. Then Naruto left with his fox companion next to him. It has been 10 years since Naruto became the avatar and left to master the 4 elements, and at one of the gates there was a group of 3 people and a floating fox was coming up to the gate. The first person of the group was Naruto, whose eyes are a dull version of the kitsune, and next to him was 2 females. The first one was called Hakuyuki and she had long black hair, pale skin and large, dark brown eyes, and a slender frame. And the second girl was known as Kurasuchi, the granddaughter of the 3rd Setsuke Jinoki, and she has short, black hair and distinctly pink eyes. And the last member of the group, which is Kurama. Naruto turns to Kurasuchi and said, what the matter, Kuro? Nothing wrong, Naruto. Kurasuchi lied. Kurasuchi, while I might be blind, we both know that I see more than everyone, even what you lie, Naruto said, and we both hate that you can do that, Naruto-sama. Haku said, is it because we are going to Konoha? Naruto said, causing the girl to flinch. Then he said, well, if it makes you feel any better, if anyone knows who you are and plans to attack you, then they will be having flying lesson, plus if they do attack, then I will most likely be their target. The 2 girls nodded as they understood as they asked how Naruto became blind, and Kurama's ears dropped. Then she said, and I am sorry for what happened for your first 5 years, Kit. It's not your fault, Kurama, and even if it was, you have more than made up for it. Naruto said, got that right, seeing as I am your eyes at time, Kurama said, and what good is it as you can only like the sights when you sit on Naruto-sama, and can hold it no more than 5 minutes. Haku said in a jabbing manner, knowing what was coming if the 2 continued. Naruto said, alright, enough you 2. Causing the 2 to stop as they were getting near the gates. As the group approached the gate, the guard said, hold, state your business for coming to Konoha. We are here to talk to the Hokage about several things. Naruto said as Kurama floated over to sit on Naruto's head. I see. Well, can you please sign the book, please? The guard said as he handed Naruto a pen. Naruto gently taps his foot to see the man holding something at him, and before he could say anything, Haku took the pen and said, I will be taking that, seeing as he is blind. Then she looks at Kurama and stuck her tongue before signing the paperwork. Alright, all looks in order, go on though, the man said after looking at the paperwork, and he remembers something, then asks, do you need any help getting to the Hokage building? Thank you so much, and no thanks, I know where it is, Naruto said as he walks through the gate with Haku and Kurasuchi behind him. The guard looks confused and mumbles to himself, but he has never been here before, although he does seem familiar. Then another guard came out building and said, hey, wasn't that the demon? The first guard then realized why Naruto seemed familiar, then said, Kami, you're right, he was the demon, and that's how he knew where the Hokage building was. As the group was walking through the streets, Naruto was getting looked at by everyone as they was trying to figure out who he was. Then one man remembered, then grabbed the closest thing he could, which was a knife, and said, so you decided to come back, you little demon. And as he was about to throw it, he was shot into the sky by a butt of earth that came up from the ground and was sinking back down. When the man hit the ground, he had lost the knife, just managed to sit up when the knife hit the ground, just missing his private, causing the man to faint with a rather darkened patch on his trousers. Naruto and the girls were laughing at what just happened, although the girls were laughing harder as they can see the guy pissed himself. Then Kurasuchi said, man, I can't wait to be able to do that. That might be true, but remember that you will only be able to do it after you and I get married, and you will have to willingly give up your chakra. Kurasuchi nodded and said, I get it, but why? Because chi and chakra can't work together. When the sage gave the world chakra, he thought it will stop wars between the benders and non-benders, Naruto said. And how do you know that? Haku asked. Simple, I asked him, seeing as I am able to go into the spirit world, I sometimes look around to see if I can learn about the world from the bending era, Naruto said. So anyone that hasn't been reincarnated lives in the spirit world, Kurasuchi said. That's right, but it's mostly those that was spiritually aware. Naruto replied. Meanwhile, in the Hokage building, Hiruzen was doing paperwork when the doors opened and a blonde girl around 15 years of age came in, followed by a woman that looked like she was late 20s to early 30s, and the old man said, "Hello Kushina-chan, and to you as well Naruto-chan, what can I do for you today?" "Well, Hiruzen, has Naruto had showed up yet?" Kushina replied. "No, I haven't received any reports of someone using weird jutsus, but no, he will show up in the next few days, seeing as I have received word from the monkeys that we have been using to keep in touch that he is on his way, as he wants to talk to me about something," Hiruzen replied. "So, what do you think he want to talk to you about, Gigi?" Naruto asked. "No clue, but I might have an idea," Hiruzen replied. "Really, what?" Kushina asked. "Well, from what the monkeys say, since he started bending, the spirits that has been helping him has taught him more than bending, and he makes an excellent cup of tea which I want to try from what the monkeys have been saying, so he could be opening up a tea shop," Naruto said. "Well, that what I think," Hiruzen said. "Well, as his mother I will be there for him no matter what, just like I should have been before," Kushina said, having a downcast look. Be the end. "Well, I am sure Enna has told him everything, seeing as she did take quite a liking to him," Hiruzen said. "And I still say that I should have hunted Jiraiya and kill him for what he did to my baby boy," Kushina said. "I know, but like I told you, he is an expert in hiding, and we know we won't find him unless he wants to," Hiruzen said as he remembered the day Kushina came back. Flashback: a month after Naruto left, Hiruzen was in his office worried about Naruto when the door busted open and an angry woman with red hair came marching in, and Hiruzen said, "Ah, Kushina, it good to see you again, so what can I do for you?" Kushina walked desk and said, "All right, Hiruzen, how did she find out?" Having an idea on she was on about, so he asked, "How did who find out?" "I don't know, some girl with long silver hair and dark blue eyes, and she was also wearing a long white coat. She appeared like Minato but without the marker, and at white light and not a flash, and she just walks up to Naruto and said, 'I am sorry, but someone need this more.' Then she plunges a hand in my baby girl's body and pulls out a glowing ball, which later we found out to be the Kyuubi's power. Then she disappears in the same way she appeared in," Kushina said. "I see, I do know who you mean, Kushina, as I met her a month ago, the same day Naruto lost her status as a Jinchuriki, as she was helping out your son," Hiruzen said before feeling some ki. Kushina, who was unleashing ki, looked at the Hokage and said, "So who is she, and don't you dare talk about my dead son that way. Her name is Enna Cross also, Kushina. Your son is alive, you were lied to 5 years ago," Hiruzen said, not believing Hiruzen. Kushina said, "Okay, let's say I do believe you now. Why did you send Jiraiya to say that the sealing failed, and Naruto was dead? I did send him to you, but to say the sealing was a success and was alive and healthy, but Jiraiya want to control something that should never be controlled," Hiruzen said. "What do you mean, Hiruzen?" Kushina asked. "When Jiraiya first heard of the prophecy, I thought he was lucky and that it would give him a change to better himself to be worthy of training the child of prophecy, but a month ago, when Naruto was yet again attacked, it sent a chain reaction all round the land," Hiruzen said. "I am afraid to ask, but what do you mean by that?" Kushina asked. Before Hiruzen could answer, there was a flash of light and Enna Cross appeared, and she said, "I will answer that as well to your any other questions you might have, Kushina. You see, a month ago Naruto was attacked for the umpteenth time. Since Jiraiya leaked that Naruto was a Jinchuriki, but last time the mob took Naruto's eye, so Kami sent me to help her chosen one, so I gave him the ability known as bending and will give him the ability to see." "But how would bending give him the ability to see?" Kushina asked. "As long as he remains barefoot, he will see though the earth, thanks to earth bending, so I made him the latest incarnation of the most powerful bender, also known as the Avatar," Enna replied. "I see, and by what you said I take it the Avatar can bend all 5 elements," Kushina said. "Well, with bending there is 4, as lighting is a sub-element to fire, but yes," Enna answered. Kushina nods and not really understanding what was being said, so he asks her next question. "So how did you know Naruto was in Jinchuriki the Kyuubi?" "Well, unlike the bending avatar which was created when one a fire bender merged to a spirit known as Rava can't appear on the mortal plane, so they can create beings out of their own power, also known as Avatar, and I am an avatar of the goddess herself, and I am to do thing that she need to sort out," Enna explained. "So why did you need to take the Kyuubi's power?" Kushina asked. Maybe because she set the fox free, Hiruzen replied. You did what my husband died to seal it way. Kushina said. Enna looks at Kushina with a critical eye before asking. Tell me, Kushina, what happened on October the 10th, not to tell that I was in Labar when the fox attacked, and that Minato sealed it in to our children as they were the only two that can handle the power. Kushina replied. That is not true. Kurama was sealed inside and you was hidden away so no one can use your weakened state to extract the bijou out of you, but I am sad to say that Minato told someone which did the job and used the Kyuubi to attack that village that both he and Jiraiya knew the seal he needed to use would take his soul as payment. That was non-negotiable, so the plan was that you leave with Naruto while Naruto was used as scapegoat. Then when you come back you kill him as he would look like you, son. Enna explained. What? There is no way that Minato would ever do that. Kushina said, not noticing a faint glow on the back of her neck. Enna sees the glow, then gives a sad sigh before walking over to the picture of Minato before removing the photo and activated the seal and a set of book. Then she handed them to the red-haired mother and said, Here's what you would find out about what you need to know about all of Minato's plans he had with the council, and Jiraiya now stands still. Kushina looks Enna confused before the avatar slaps the back of the neck and destroys whatever seal on there, causing the Kushina tongue collapse. Then the avatar lifts up the female and slings her over her shoulder and turns to the Hokage and says, Well, I'd best be of and take Kushina home so she can read that sort of person Minato was, as well as prepare top set thing right with her son when he returns in 10 years' time. That might be for the best. Also please leave, and not that once her rampage is over, I would like to see her. Hiruzen said as Enna was walking out of the office. She waved it off and said, Will do. And once she was out the office she saw a little girl that was 5 years old, and said, Hello Naruto, sorry about last month. BTU, I needed the power that was sealed inside you. I would go into depth, but you are too young to understand. That's okay, miss, but what happened to Ka-chan? The young girl said / asked. She is just taking a nap as I removed something that shouldn't have been there, so it is now my responsibility to take you and her home. Enna said as she held out her hand so Naruto could take it. Then they left the building. End of flashback. Hiruzen sighed as he was about to start chatting to Kushina and Naruto when his comm went off outside building. Naruto and his group was lust entering the building. They walked in and went up to the receptionist, and Kurasuchi said, Hello, can we see the Hokage? The receptionist looks at a schedule and said, You're in Luke. K. He is free, let me just see if he will see you now. Before reaching, turn the comm and say, Hokage-sama, you have a group of 3 people that want to talk to you. Alright, send them in. The Hokage said. Will do. The receptionist said. Then she said to the group, Go on though, thank you. Naruto said. The receptionist sees Naruto's eyes and asks, Wait, will you be able to get to the office okay? I will, after all that's what the fox is for, and I have a special technique. Naruto said, then points to Haku before saying, And Haku here tries to help but I don't let her. And as the group was heading to off, Kurama was looking at Haku with a smug look. Once the group was outside, Kurasuchi knocked and they heard the Hokage say, Come in. Naruto was the first one to enter and he said, Hey old man, did you miss me? Hiruzen looks at the blonde for a moment before recognizing him, then said, Naruto, is that you? Naruto nods, then said, Right, so you haven't gone senile yet, Gigi. So who are the 2 females? That was in here before we got here. Before Hiruzen could say anything, Kushina said, I am your mother, and I am sorry for leaving you, but I was told the sealing failed. I know because Enna told me, and I can tell you are telling the truth. Naruto said, Thank you, Naruto. Kushina said as she ran over to Naruto and to give her son a long-awaited hug, and this time she doesn't plan to let go, and Naruto followed soon after. Hiruzen coughed to get the trio to separate, then said, I see your training was a success. Damn right it was. Naruto said. Then the old man noticed the eyes and asks, So what happened to your eyes? I don't know. One time Kurama was sitting on my head 1 minute using earth bending to see, the next I am able to see, although it was for a few seconds, and since then my eyes have been like Kurama's, and according to the girls, when the connection is there my eyes brighten up, otherwise they are dull. Naruto replied, I see. So what can Kurama do? Hiruzen asked. Well, so far, we have discovered that she can change her size while in chibi mode. She can float around as well as turn into the 4 elements, and we can form a giant creature, and she can hold my stuff in her tail. So, like one of those bags that has a seal that make it bigger on the inside. Naruto said, That's right, but so far, We haven't found a limit on how much that goes in, and only she can place it in her tail to be active. Naruto said, well, that's understandable, otherwise everyone will be putting things in her tail. Kushina said, so, what of her other form? Hiruzen asks. Just a smaller version of her true form, Haku said. Thank you, miss, so who are you two anyway? Hiruzen asked as he looks at Naruto's companions. Well, I am Hakuyuki of the Yuki clan who has an ice-type Kekii Genkai, and I am also Naruto-sama's weapon, Haku said. Now that is a lie, as that is my job, Kurama said before flying at the ice user Naruto's side before saying, forget about them, and Kurama is right, she isn't my weapon, but she says that I am her master as I help her out when she was at a low point in her life. What do you mean, Naruto? Kushina asks. Well, I met Haku a year after I became the Avatar, and was learning water bending from Katara Bachan when I was passing an alleyway, and saw something inside causing me to stop and ask who was there. Then Haku walks out, and feeling how she was if equals offered her something to eat, and she tells me how she became homeless. Then after hearing that I asked her if she wanted to join me, and she did on one condition, Naruto said. And how did she become homeless, and what was the condition? Hiruzen asked. Well, as you know, at that time there was civil war going on. Well, Haku's mother managed to get out but was injured, but luckily for her a man was passing though, and healed her and later fell in love. Then not long after that Haku was, and when Haku discovered her Kekii Genkai she showed her mother, but she hoping she would be happy, but she wasn't, and told her not to do it again. But what they didn't know was that the man saw and left to get some people. Then they came and to kill them both. They killed the mother, but in a terrified state Haku's bloodline killed everyone else, Naruto said before giving a sad sigh before continuing. Now as for the condition, well, it was when I am able I helped the civil war I did after I learned the other two elements. I see, Hiruzen said as he took a puff on his pipe before turning to Kurasuchi and asks, and who are you, my dear? Well, I am Kurasuchi, and I am the granddaughter of Inoki. Kurasuchi, causing everyone apart from her companions to go wide-eyed. Hiruzen composed himself the quickest before saying, I see, so what are you doing here, seeing as your village hates ours? Well, that is why I am here, to bury the past, and for what is worth Gigi never hated Konoha for what happened, seeing as it was a war. Kurasuchi said, so, what does you being here got to do with letting bygones be bygones? Hiruzen asked. Well, some point I plan to marry Naruto, as he saved my life because I got kidnapped as the person that was supposed to protect me let it happen, and before he could say where I was, my supposed protector killed my kidnapper, and I was in a cave for 2 days before Naruto felt me under him and got me out. Then Gigi let Naruto stay for a few days. Then as Naruto was about to leave I suggested that I leave with him, that way whatever happened won't happen again, and I also suggested a way to let the past remain in the past. Kurasuchi explained. The arranged marriage, Hiruzen said, which got a nod from Kurasuchi. Well, sound like you had an eventful journey, Naruto. Naruko said. You have no idea. Naruto said, well, we will leave it there as Kushina wants to connect with her son and you two want to settle down, and the exam will be tomorrow. Hiruzen said. Then the now group of 5 left the office, and Kushina lead Naruto, Haku, and Kurasuchi the Uzumaki home, while Naruko left to speak with her friends when Naruto woke up the next morning with Kurama on his chest, so he shook the vixen awake and then went to get up, and the moment one of his feet touched the floor he saw someone approaching the room he was in. Then he hears his mother said, Naruto, are you up? I am, thank you. So where are Haku and Kurasuchi? Naruto said, well, they were up about an hour ago, and tight now they are outside training now. Come on, it's time for you to have breakfast. Kushina replied, did someone say food? Kurama said before flying out of the room, which got a laugh from both mother and son. Kushina was the first to stop laughing before turning back to her son to say, listen, Naruto, which got his attention. Before we go and get breakfast, I know I have said this to you yesterday, but I really am sorry for abandoning you like that. If I had known that you were still alive, Ka-chan, that's enough. I know you are sorry. I can feel that you are trembling, and while I will admit that I was angry and upset when Enna told me that you was still alive, as I was thinking that you didn't love me, you thought I was a demon like everyone else, but Enna sorted that out straight away, and quite frankly it was a good thing you did, Naruto said. And how is it a good thing? Because of that you are blind, Kushina said. True, but because of that I have a power is now basically extinct, and I am the strongest one of them, Naruto said, thinking about what her son had said. Kushina said, well, you do have a point there, but now I am worried that people will try and use you for their own personal gain. Well, that can try, but they will fail. Naruto said with confidence. And how can you be so sure? Kushina asked. Well, how I can tell is the same way I can see, Naruto said. So, you never really got into it yesterday, but how are you able to know where you are going? Kushina asked. That is thought the use of earth bending I am able to see in seismic activity. Naruto said. Kushina's eyes went wide then said. Oh. I get it, so you can know the vibrations on the ground. Naruto nodded then he said. Right. Then they both left the room and headed to the kitchen. An hour later Naruto, Naruko, Haku and Kurasuchi was getting ready to leave when Kushina said. Now Naruko, you take care of your brother, not that he needs it but help him when his bending can't be effective. Will do, Kaa-chan. Naruko said. Kurama then got into Naruko's face and said. Hey, that's my job. Haku then grabbed Kurama by the scruff and said. No. That's my job, you floating furball. Oh, I can merge with Naruto to form things that can go toe to toe with a bijou, carry stuff and can become his eyes, so what can you do? Kurama said. Asked. Well, nothing except for carrying his stuff and be his eyes. Haku said in defeat. Naruto sighed then said. Alright you two, that's enough, we have to get going to the academy. Okay, sure. Both Haku and Kurama said at the same time before turning to each other then said. This is end over. Then the soon-to-be ninjas left after Kushina gives Naruko a note from the Hokage. Once at the academy, Naruko lead the others to the classroom, and upon entering Naruko walked up to the teacher that had a scare on his face. Then she said as she hands the note over. Hey Iruka-sensei, got a note for you. The teacher takes the note from Naruko and reads it then said. I see, thanks Naruko, now take your seat. Naruko nods then goes to her seat, and as she was going Iruka said. Alright class, we have 3 people taking the exam. Then a pink-haired girl stood up and shouted. Who can you let 3 wannabes just join is like that? Naruto tapped his foot to feel who was calling them wannabes, then he said. Well, from what I hear you are the wannabe. What did you just say? The pink-haired girl said. What kind of ninja has a shirking voice that you properly don't know when to shut up? Naruto said, which got a shriek from the girl. Then a boy with red markings on his cheeks notices Naruto's eyes and he asks. Hey, what's wrong with your eyes? Well, to simply put, I am blind. Naruto replied. Then a black-haired teen laughed and said. Well then how can you be a ninja if you're blind, so leave this to the elites. Well, I know the 2 lovely ladies behind me are better than you, and I am more than capable of holding my own. Naruto said while getting a blush from Haku and Kurasuchi. The black-haired boy's scroll deepened, then he said. I guess you don't know who I am. Naruto smirks then said. Well, give the guy a prize, after all I just got here just yesterday. Then let me tell you how I am. The boy said. Oh, please do enlighten us. Kurasuchi said as she was the one that held the most powerful title under Naruto. Before the black-haired boy could say anything, Iruka said. Sasuke, sit down, you 2 Sakura, then we can start the exam. Then he turned to the trio then said. You 3 can take which seat is free. Then as the 3 was going to their seats, the sensei said. Wait, Naruto. Naruto stops then asks as he turns to face Iruka. What is it? Iruka was a bit hesitant to ask at first, but he asked. I mean, no offense, but will you be okay with the exam? No need to worry, I will be fine thanks to Kurama here. Naruto replied as he points to Kurama who was sitting on his head. Then he turns and goes to sit down. How did I miss the fox that is sitting on his head? Was the thought for most of the class. Once Naruto took his seat, the instructors started to pass out the tests. Then Iruka said. You have 1 hour, begin. Then there was the sound of pencils writing on paper. Once the hour had passed, Iruka said. Alright, the exam is now over, put down the pencils. Now we are going to take a small break so we can collect and grade the exams. Then everyone left the room and the 2 instructors got to work outside. Naruto, Haku, Kurasuchi. Then Kurasuchi said. What kind of exam was that? I knew most of that, and I am now even from this village. I know what you mean, Kurasuchi. Tsunade-sama would be ashamed of how the village is considering. It was her own grandfather that built the village with her grandmother Mito Uzumaki and Madara Uchiha. Haku said with a sigh. Well, it's a good thing that she is coming back in a month. Naruto said before turning to the side as he felt 3 people approach. Then he said. Hey Naruko, who are your friends? How did you know it was me? Naruko asked, shocked. Along with her friends, one was blonde while the other had lavender hair. Well, I tend to learn how my allies walk so that way they can't fool me, Naruto said. Yeah, that little trick has saved us a lot of trouble. Kurasuchi said with a little laugh as she remembered the numerous times people have transformed into her and Haku to get close to Naruto. What do you mean, and how did you know we was coming, seeing as you're blind? The blonde asked. Well, like I said earlier, just because I am blind doesn't mean I am not capable. I just see another way. In Naruto, everyone may seem to walk, but they have a slight difference. Also, who are your friends? Naruto replied. Oh, right, I was shocked to know that you knew I was coming anyway. To my left is Ino, and to my right is Hinata, Naruto said and stumped her feet to said person. Hinata noticed what Naruto did, asked. Naruto, why did you stomp your feet? It's to let Naruto see who I was talking about, Naruto replied. And how can he see us? Ino asked. I see though the earth, Ino, Naruto said. How, Ino? And Hinata asked. Well, for you to know that you need to know that I don't have a single ounce of chakra, Naruto replied. How is that possible? Hinata asked. Well, it's like this, and it's also how I lost my eyesight, Naruto said before explaining how he became the avatar. When Naruto was done, Ino and Hinata was shocked. Then Ino said, So you have a power that predate the shinobi era, and this power lets you bend 4 elements of the 5 elements. Well, back then it was 4. Lighting was a sub-element for fire, just like combustion, Naruto said. So, down the other elements have sub-elements, Hinata asked. Well, earth and water does, and all the elements have a skill that you can gain if trained hard enough, Naruto said. Well, what are they? Ino asked. Well, water bending has blood bending and the ability of healing. Now earth has metal and lava bending and the ability of sense seismic activity. Now air gives you the ability to fly and is astral projection, Naruto replied. Then they fell into a comfortable conversation. After 10 minutes had gone, Irika had come out and said, Everyone came back, and so we can start the jutsu part of the test. As the students was entering, Naruto walked up to Irika and said, Irika, I am going to skip this part of the exam because I don't have chakra. Irika nods and said, I know, as it was in the note that your sister gave me. Great, Naruto said before heading inside. When the jutsu test was done, Irika said, Alright class, the jutsu part of the exam is over, so please head outside for the last part of the exam, the taijutsu. Sakura then stood up and said, Sensei, you missed the blind baka. That's because I can't use chakra, you banshee. Now shut up before you find out what I am really capable of, Naruto said before leaving the room. But as he took the first step, the whole building shook. When the shaking stopped, a teen that had his hair in a pineapple style said, What caused the earthquake, seeing as we're not on a fault line? Naruto turns to the teen then said, From what I understand, Shikamaru, that little quake was caused by Naruto. Sasuke perked up at hearing this. Then Haku said, And that was a tiny bit of his power. Then both her and Kurasuchi followed Naruto to the arena. After a few minutes, the others started to follow, and as they were walking to the arena, Sasuke thought, I must get that power so I can beat him. Once the class was at the arena, they were shocked to see rocks of all sizes and orbs of water floating around. Then Sasuke said, Give me that power. Naruto looks at his class then said, Sure, I can give you this power, but unlike me you will only have control over 1 element, but it will come at a cost. What do you mean that in order to do what you can do comes at a price? A boy with a big build who is standing next to Shikamaru. Well, in order to do what he can you would have to give up something, Haku said. And it's chakra we would have to give up, isn't it? Shikamaru asked. It is, so the question is, will you give up chakra to bend one of the 4 elements? Kurasuchi said before anyone could ask about the bending arts. Naruto said, How about we finish the exam before you ask us about bending? He is right, let's start the taijutsu exam. The first spar will be between Naruto and Sasuke, Irika said as the 2 students was walking into the arena. Sasuke said, Get ready, you'll lose though, because you will be where you belong. And where is that? Naruto asks. Beneath B, as I will be taking that power that should be mine, Sasuke said. Naruto laughs at this then said, Oh, and here I thought it was me still standing in the ring and you outside, and I doubt you will be much of a challenge. Which got a scroll from Sasuke. Once the 2 boys got into position, the instructor said, Hajime. Sasuke lunged himself towards Naruto, and as he was about to punch him, Naruto deflects the punch, and with the same hand grabs the wrist, and as he does, he starts to turn around, and it caused Sasuke to go turn, and the process nearly sent him out of the ring. When Naruto was done with the technique, Sasuke got up and said, So you are nothing without your bending, because if that's all you've got, then that is pathetic. Well, that was me being kind, but if you want, I can attack, Naruto replied with a smirk. Scared that I will beat you, Sasuke said. Nope, just don't want to embarrass you too much as you're not much of a challenge unlike that Kunoichi village that I went to once. Naruto said as he remembered visiting Nadeshiko village and the promise he made to Shizuka that in 5 years they will fight, and that time is in a few months. Haku and Kurasuchi both smiled at this as they saw how Shizuka was developing feelings for Naruto. Then Kurasuchi said, So Naruto-kun, are you excited for the promise you made? Well yeah, after all she was great to be around even though that rule of theirs is a pain in the ass. Naruto replied. Sasuke took that moment to give Naruto a punch, but Naruto dodged it, and he countered with a punch of his own with enough power to send Sasuke out of the ring, and everyone was shocked at how easy Naruto. Then Irika said, Winner Naruto Uzumaki. As Naruto was walking out of the arena he said, And that was why I was going easy on you, Sasuke, because unlike you I have real-world experience. When the exam was over the students was back in the classroom waiting for the instructors to return, and when they did Irika said, Alright, now as I call your name please step forward and receive your head protector. Then he started to call names that had passed. Then once that was done he said, And with that I congratulate those that have passed. Now be here tomorrow at normal time for your team placements. Then he dismissed the graduates as Naruto Kurama, who was sitting on Naruto's head, Haku, Kurasuchi and Naruto was leaving the academy building. Naruto, who still has to put on the headband, was running his fingers over it. Then the vixen asked, What are you thinking, Naruto? Which got the attention of the others. Well, I am going to see the old man to see if I can modify my head protector a bit, Naruto replied. You're thinking about putting the 4 elemental symbols on it, ain't you? Kurasuchi asked. Naruto nodded and said, That I am, but I do believe that I need the old man's permission to do it. Then with their next plan set, the small group was walking out of the grounds and head to the Hokage's office. They heard someone says, Hey, wait up, I need to speak to you about something. So, who do you need to speak to, Mitsuki-sensei? Naruto asked him. Mitsuki said as he points to Naruto. About what do you need to speak to him? About, Kurama asked. Sorry, but I can only speak to him in private, Mitsuki said. Go on ahead, I will catch up with you. Naruto said to his sister and girlfriends. Then he said, But Kurama says as she is my eyes. You sure about this? Haku asked. Yes, I am. Naruto said, then leans in to give Haku a kiss in the cheek, then whispers, He is up to something, and by doing this we can see what he wants. Haku nods, then continues walking to the Hokage building. Then Mitsuki said, Now please follow me and I will tell you something that very few newly graduates can do. Then he walks to a secluded part of the school with Naruto following. Once at the area, Mitsuki said, Now what I am about to tell you is only for those we as instructors tell, say so no telling anyone else, got it, or it would class as a failure. Naruto nods, then said, Got it, so what is it? Well, I know that you are more capable than the average genin, so there is a secret exam that we can minister that allows you to be promotion to Chunin. Mitsuki lying. Naruto knows Mitsuki was lying, so he asked, What do I need to become a Chunin? Mitsuki smiled and thought, This imperfect, I get the forbidden scroll for my master, and the demon take the fall. Then said, In the Hokage office there is a vault with a large scroll in it. All you have to do is break in and get it, then take it to a reclusive part of the forbidden forest, the place that has the large trees and a fence around it. No offense, but I do know where training ground 44 is and I accept, Naruto said. That's great, but remember, don't tell anyone, Mitsuki said. Got it, Naruto said. Then he heads off to catch the others. Once Naruto caught up, Kurasuchi asked, So what did the sensei want? I will tell you when we get to the old man, Naruto said. Then they continued their walk to the building. When Naruto and the gang got to the Hokage's office, Naruto walks up to the receptionist and asked, Hey, can we see the old man? The receptionist looks at the schedule, then said, Nope, he should be free right now, so go on in. Nice, Naruto said. Then as she and the others went on to the office, then she said, Hey old man, my brother has a request. Hiruzen looks up at the group, then said, And what would that be, Naruto-kun? I was wondering if I could get my head protector modified a bit. Naruto said, Oh, and what would that be? The old man said, I want to get the 4 element symbols. Naruto said. Hiruzen thinks about it, then said, Well, I don't see why not, as it is a part of who you are, so if you hand me your headband as well the symbols of the element from the art of bending, and I will sort it out, then you will get it back in the morning. Then Naruto and Haku walked up to the desk and handed over what was needed. Then the old man said, Thank you, and is that all? Not yet, old man, because you might have a traitor in your village. Naruto said. Hiruzen's face then became all serious. Then he said, "That's a very accusation there, Naruto. Can you prove it?" "Not really, but Mitsuki said there's a secret exam that the sensei can minister that allows more than capable students to be promotion to Chunin," Naruto said. "And I can vouch for that," Kurama said. "So, what is the secret test?" the old man asked. "It's to steal a large scroll, then take it to a clearing in the Forbidden Forest," Naruto said. "A large scroll, does he mean the Forbidden Scroll?" Hiruzen thought. Then he said, "Well then, looks like you have your first mission, Naruto." "I do/he does, Naruto, and..." the girls said. When Hiruzen looks at Naruto, not that Naruto then said, "Now Naruto, seeing as this is a setup, I will need to make it look believable, so I will need to let everyone know that you have something that shouldn't have. I understand that as it is to make it look authentic," Naruto said. Hiruzen smiled as Naruto didn't mind on what he had to do. Then he said, "Well then, you all better get going, and Naruto, see you in a few hours. Oh, and don't tell anyone about this." The teens just nodded. Then they left the office. Then they headed home. When they got home, that was met with Kushina, who asked, "So how did it go?" "It went great, even though Naruto will most likely be called to meet the civilian council," Naruto replied. Kushina turns to her son and asked, "And why would they call you?" "I might have injured the emo king's ego a bit," Naruto sighed, not really caring. "So how did you do that during the exam?" Kushina asked. "Well, yeah, and it only lasted a few minutes before I gave him a punch that was hard enough to send out of the ring," Naruto said. "Good, maybe that will teach him that he isn't as good as he thinks," Kushina said. Then she heads into the kitchen. Then she said, "Now then, let's have something to eat." A few hours later, Naruto was in the Hokage's office, and the old man said while holding the Forbidden Scroll, "Now Naruto, you understand what's to do." "Yes, sir. After you give me the scroll, I head to the clearing to meet Mitsuki. Then when he shows up, I give him an ass kicking he won't forget." "Well, not how I would have put it if I was talking to the Hokage, but I am not surprised, seeing as your sister Mother Tsunade and Mito usually don't give a damn on how you talk to people of authority," Hiruzen said. "Damn tight I don't. You can also ask Inoki when you next meet him," Naruto said. "Now we are off track. Now, as I have said earlier, in order to make Mitsuki believe that you have stolen the scroll, I will need to alert all available ninjas in the village and have them look for you, but I will tell them not to harm you," Hiruzen said. Naruto nods and said, "I understand, but if they come at me with the intent to kill me, then I will defend myself, because I know that even though I have been gone for 10 years, there is still hatred for me, all because of my asshole of a father." Hiruzen nods. Then he said, "That is understandable, and I will let the hospital know that there could be a few ninjas coming in. So, what's your plan once you have handed me the scroll?" Naruto asked. "Well, I plan to wait for an hour before I call a meeting which will include some of the medic to find you," Hiruzen replied. Naruto nods as he took the scroll from his grandfather figure. Then said, "Kurama, my glider please, coming right up," the chibi floating fox said as she reached into her tail and pulled out a long pole that was about the size of said teen. Naruto takes the pole. Then, "Thanks." Then when Kurama sat on Naruto's, his eyes gained some color. Then he goes over to the window. Then the pole. Then some wings was revealed. He then left via the window. An hour later, Hiruzen had called the meeting, and when everyone was there, he coughed and said, "All right, I have called you here because we have an emergency on our hands." Then a raven-haired female with ruby eyes asked, "What kind of situation is it?" "Well, to put it simply, Naruto stole the Forbidden Scroll, so I want you to find him and bring him to me alive." Hiruzen, sir, wouldn't it be best if we kill him for taking the scroll? After all, when he gives it to one of our enemies, they could gain the power to crush us," spoke a male with gravity-defying silver hair. "While I would normally do that, Kakashi, but I have a suspicion something isn't right. Then there is the fact, if Naruto wanted to, he could level this village on his own and in a matter of minutes," Hiruzen said. Then a male with black hair asked, "What do you mean, Pops?" "Well, to simply put, how can a blind person know about the scroll when they haven't been in the village for 10 years, Hiruzen replied. "Well, when you put it that way, then I would also think someone is behind it," the man said. "My thoughts exactly. Now you are dismissed," the old man said. Then all but one person exited the room. Then Hiruzen looks at the person, then asked, "What can I do for you, Kushina?" Kushina walks up to the desk, then asked, "What's really going on here, Hiruzen?" "What do you mean?" Hiruzen asked. "What going on with Naruto? I might not have been in his life for 15 years, but from what I have found out from Haku and Kurasuchi is that there is no way he would have stolen anything. Kushina said with a sigh. The aged Kage took a puff of his pipe then said, "You're right, he wouldn't do something like that. I gave him the scroll." The mother then slammed her hands on the desk then asked, "What was you thinking just giving Naruto something like the forbidden scroll?" "Well, for starters, he can't learn anything from it as he has no chakra, remember?" Hiruzen said, realizing that Hokage was right. Kushina then aid. Yeah, I forgot about that." Then she looks at the old man then said, "So what else is there, seeing as you said for starters?" "Well, it's a trap to get Mitsuki," Hiruzen replied. "What does he have to do with this?" Kushina asked. "Everything, seeing as he lied to Naruto saying that there was a secret exam that would let him become a Chunin," Hiruzen explained. "And because he underestimated what Naruto is capable of, he felt something wasn't right with how he walked then when he was told about the exam he came here and told you," Kushina said. "Well, you are half with the reason why he came here," Hiruzen said. Kushina then gains a confused look then asked, "What do you mean?" "Well, you were right, he did come here and told me, but he was already coming here anyway," Hiruzen answered. "And why was he coming here?" Kushina said. "Because he wanted his head protector modified a bit," Hiruzen said. "What was the modification?" Kushina said. "The modification he wants done is to put the 4 symbols of the 4 elements of bending," Hiruzen said. "I see. Well, I would do the same thing if I was in my son's position," Kushina said in a thoughtful tone. "Right, which is why I said I will do it, seeing as the symbols are a part of Naruto," the aged Kage said. "So is there any other reason why you let Naruto do this mission?" Kushina asked. "Yes, there is. It's to see what Naruto is capable of," Hiruzen said. Then as he looks at Kushina and Paul at seeing the mother pissed off, then he quickly said, Now. Kushina, I'm not doing this to use him as a weapon. After all, the moment I do, I am sure I would doom the village via Naruto doing something, or a pissed off avatar for doing something like that with Kami's chosen 1-inch. Seeing that Kushina had calmed down, he said as he brought his crystal ball out, "So do you want to see what your son is capable of? What kind of mother would I be if I didn't know what her children are able to do?" Kushina said as she took a seat next to the old man. Naruto was in the forbidden forest meditating in the middle of the clearing when suddenly a bush started to rustle, but Naruto didn't even move a muscle. Then 2 animals leaped out of the bush, which revealed to be a white tiger and a large black dire wolf, who both tackled Naruto, which got him to laugh, and once they stopped licking him, he then asks, "Kurama, what's with the 2 animals licking me?" "Well, Naruto, the first one is a white tiger and the other one is a large wolf," Kurama said before remembering something. Then she said, "Hey Naruto, didn't you save a white tiger cub from traffickers that decided to enter the village, and there was a rare one, seeing as she had power over wind and thunder?" Remembering what she is on about, Naruto said, "Oh yeah, I remember her. Didn't I name her Kahaku? Also, didn't I also save a pitch black wolf pup that had as much stamina as me and is practically indestructible and can travel between shadows, who I named Okami?" "That's right, Naruto, you did. And seeing these 2 together and being affectionate with you, that would mean that these 2 are Kahaku and Okami, and by the looks of they still remember you, and they want to catch up," Kurama said. "That's great, and I would love to, but I can't, as I have to do first," Naruto said as he began to stroke Kahaku and Okami. "Right," Kurama said before turning to the 2 animals, then said, "Alright, you 2, you have to go, as Naruto has something important to do, and the reason why Naruto hadn't came to visit you in the past 10 years is because after an attack 10 years ago he was left blind, and so he left the village to get used to the new power that he gained." The 2 animals looks up at Naruto's face with a sad look, then they began to rub their heads on him, and gave sad whimpers. Naruto gets what they are trying to say, said as he rubbed their heads, "Hey, none of that, I have gotten used to it, and just because I am blind doesn't mean anything." Then he felt someone coming, then quickly said, "You 2 need to get going." "Don't worry, I will be fine. Then once I am done here I will come and find you." They gave Naruto another lick on the face before running behind a bush, and turned to face the clearing. Naruto feels the smirks then though. "I wonder if the old man would give me 3 head protectors for the 3 of them." Naruto felt the person was just around a tree, and as the person walked out, revealing to be Irika, and he looked at Naruto, then he said, "Naruto, do you have any idea on what you have done?" "I do, and I am waiting for someone to show up," Naruto replied. Irika just sighed, then said, "Look, I know you are talented, but you can just steal something like the Forbidden Scroll." Before Naruto could say anything, they both heard Mitsuki say, Very well done, Naruto. Now give me the scroll and I will tell the Hokage that you passed the test. All the while thinking, foolish demon, like there was ever exam like this. Once I get the scroll you are dead and I will be hailed as a hero for killing the demon. When he saw that Naruto hadn't moved, he said, Hey Naruto, let me tell you a secret, one that everyone knows but you. Knowing what his coworker was about to say, Iruka quickly shouted, You can say a word, it's forbidden. Oh, be court, Iruka. Mitsuki said before turning to Naruto, then said, You see, 15 years ago on the night that the nine-tailed fox attacked, there was a cover-up. While the textbooks say that the fourth killed it, the truth is he couldn't, so he did the next best thing, and that was to seal it into a newborn child, and that child is you, and therefore making you the nine-tailed in human form. Naruto and Kurama stood/floated there before they somehow looked at each other before busted out laughing, and Naruto said after calming down a little, Do you hear that, Kurama? Oh, I am hearing, still trying to figure out how that believe that, replied the fox before they both busted out laughing again. Both Iruka and Natsuki looked at Naruto and Kurama, then the latter shouted, What the fuck are you two talking about? Managing to calm down enough, Naruto said, To start things, of your info is a bit dated, as I have known about Kurama here for the past 10 years, and another thing, I am a male, not a female. Mitsuki scoffs, then said, Anyway, now give me the scroll and you can become a Chunin. Naruto then smirks, then said, Yeah, I don't think so, what are you on about? Mitsuki said in surprise. This, Naruto said before passing it to Iruka, then said, Iruka, take the scroll and get out of here. Iruka looks at Naruto, then said, And how do you know that I'm not with Mitsuki? Easy, your body language. Naruto replied. And how can you see that when you are blind? Iruka asked. There's more than one way to see, now get going. Naruto said. Then he swiped his foot, and the instructor was moved towards the fences. Then he said, Kahaku Okami, protect him. Then he felt 2 animals left, and followed Iruka. You know something, that was a foolish mistake sending Iruka away with the scroll, Mitsuki said. Was it now? How come? Naruto said/asked. Well, yeah, after all, how can a blind kid surpass to be me a Chunin? Mitsuki asked. Well, don't you know one of the rules in a fight? Don't underestimate your opponent, as you don't know what they can do, Kurama said. I do know that, but come on, this is a blind teen, what can he do seeing as he can't do jutsu? Mitsuki said. While you're right, I don't have chakra, but I have something better, and it predates the ninja era, Naruto said with pride. Then he said, Oh, and one more thing, just because I am blind doesn't mean I am helpless. Then he stumped his foot. Then Mitsuki was sent flying into a tree, and on the way down he was hitting branches, and a couple of the hit went in between the legs. Once Mitsuki was on the floor, he shakily stood up, then asked, What the fuck was that? That was what I am capable of doing. Now will you be a good little boy or a bad little boy? Naruto asked. Like I will fall to a demon like you, Mitsuki said before. He charged at Naruto. Naruto waited for Mitsuki take a couple of steps so he can judge the speed and distance with the steps. Then once he has it, he took a step. As the foot hit the ground, a little began to form, and as the tunnel got to Mitsuki, just as his footy hit the ground, then the next thing Mitsuki knew, he was facing the other way. Just as he was realizing what was happening, he started to groan in pain. Then Naruto sent him into a tree and was knocked unconscious. Then Naruto said, And that is why you don't mess with me. Then he quickly put him in cocoon made from earth in the office. Kushina and Hiruzen was impressed by what they saw. Then the old man said to Kushina, Well, I think we should head there now. You're right, we should, Kushina replied. Then they both left the office. As Naruto was walking out of the forest, he heard a pained roar, so he drops the cocoon and heads towards where he heard the sound, with Kurama flying behind him, and when he got there he saw Iruka on the ground with a giant shuriken in his back, Kahaku on the ground with a gush in her side, and he couldn't see Okami as she was in a net trap, and 3 other people. Then he asked, What's going on here? We are here to eliminate any and all witnesses, and our master would like these animals. One of the men said. Like hell I will let you do that, Naruto said in rage as his eyes began to change and the earth started to shake, and he looked up, then opened his mouth, and a torrent of flames came out and shot to the sky. Meanwhile at the household, Haku and Kurasuchi felt the earthquake and seized the flames. The 4 and they both had one though on their mind. Oh shit, I have to go before the other Naruto does something that our Naruto would hate. Then they left the house and headed to Naruto. When the stream of fire stopped, Naruto looked straight, but now his eyes was now black and red irises. But the dullness still showed that he was still blind. Then he said, Fox, what happened? Kurama flies in front of Naruto then said, "Don't call me Fox. Yami, my name is Kurama, and the three people that are standing attacked a wolf and tiger that Naruto freed and cared for. What their purpose for them are I don't know." "I see," Yami said, then turns his attention to the three shinobi then asks, "So what do you plan to do with my companion?" "Well, as I said, we plan to take them to our master till he can try and get more of them, not that you will be around." One of the shinobi said then, as he was about to reach for something, he suddenly found himself buried up to his neck. Then he said, What happened?" Yami chuckled a bit before saying, "Well, asshole, that would be me. You see, I have the power to bend the 4 basic elements." Then, to prove his point, he waved his arm and a gust of wind sent one of the 2 free shinobis into a tree. Then he used some water from a stream that was nearby and froze the last shinobi in ice. Then he said, What should I do to the 3 of you?" As Naruto was thinking of what to do to the 3 shinobis that had attacked Okami and Kahaku, Hiruzen and Kushina showed up, and the latter, "What's going on here? I have no idea, old man," Kushina said as she observes the situation. "Well, either way, we have to do something," Hiruzen said, which Kushina nods. Kurama sees Hiruzen and Kushina about to do something, so she quickly flies over to them and said, "Wait, don't I know you want to do something, but don't do anything, otherwise you will get hurt." "What do you mean, Kurama?" Kushina said before Kurama could say anything. Kurasuchi and Haku landed not far from them, and the former turns to the flying fox. "Kurama, what happened?" "It started when Naruto was waiting for Mitsuki, when 2 of Naruto pets that he rescued as a kid got a bit excited upon seeing him, and they was meant to escort Irika out of the forest, but that was attacked by masked shinobi saying that they have been after Okami and Kahaku for years, and upon feeling Kahaku had a large gush on her side and not knowing what the stat of Okami is in, brought out Yami," Kurama said. "Well then, it's a good thing that Naruto asked Kushina to make those seals," Haku said as both her and Kurasuchi activated the seals before jumping down on land on the ground. Then heads to Naruto. Hiruzen turns to Kushina and asked, "What seal was she on about?" "Well, when was having breakfast, Naruto asked me if I could make a seal that can stop vibrations, and I asked why. He said that he hoped that I find out," Kushina replied. Meanwhile, both Haku and Kurasuchi was looking at Naruto with sad eyes when Haku asked while whispering, "So who's going to calm him down this time?" "You can, because I think I did it last time," Kurasuchi replied. "Thank you," Haku said before rushing toward Naruto. Then she said, "Hey Yami." Naruto turns around then said, "Who's there and why can I see you?" But he got his answer by Haku kissing him on the lips. As Naruto was calming down, his eyes turned back to normal. Then he went limp. The moment Naruto went limp, Haku was ready for it, and said, "I have you, Naruto." Kurasuchi was walking up to them, said as she took an arm, "Don't you mean we have him?" "You right," Haku said. Then they both seized the Hokage and Naruto mother walking up to them when Kushina sees her son being held by Haku and Kurasuchi and said, "What happened?" "Don't worry, Kushina, this usually happens when Naruto get possessed. He will be up in a sec," Kurasuchi replied. Then all of a sudden Naruto let out a groan then asked, "What happened?" "Because the last thing I remember was seeing Kahaku with a large gush on her side." Then his eyes went wide, then rushed over to he and pulls some water from the stream and begins to heal her. "What are you doing, Naruto?" Hiruzen asked. "It's a water-bending power, one that allowed the bender to heal, and with water from a sacred place you can revive someone that hadn't long since died. Well, according to Katara Bachan, that is," Naruto said. "I see. Well, I will leave her and Irika to you, but see me in the morning, so you tell me what happened," Hiruzen said. "There isn't much to tell. When Enna removed Kurama, there was an unforeseen side effect," Naruto said. "And what side effect is it?" Kushina asked, fearing for her son. "It created a dark version of me who's named himself Yami, and from what I have been told, he will attack the ones that brings him out and those that get in his way, no matter if they are friend or foe," Naruto said, realizing why he asked for the seal. Kushina said, "That's why you ask for those seals. It's to protect those you care for as they try and calm you down, and why Kurama told us not to do anything." Naruto nodded and said, "That's right, Kachan, it is, because so far every time Yami has came out he has sent both Haku and Kurasuchi to the hospital. Heck, I am still surprised that old man Inoki let his granddaughter come with me when he came out when someone tried to put a slave seal in Haku, and I also sent a third of his forces to the hospital as well, and that includes Haku and Kurasuchi. Well, I am sure he trusts you even with your darker side," Hiruzen said as he watches Naruto go to Irika. Then there was some whimpering, then he looks and sees the large wolf, then said he goes over to the net. Right, let's get you done, and we will take you all and the white tiger to the vet and Irika to the hospital. Once the wolf was free, she went straight to the tiger and gave her a nudge. Then Haku said, "Oh, isn't that cute? It sure is, Haku," Kushina said. "So those are the infamous Shadow Wolf and Thunder Tiger?" Hiruzen said. Kushina looks at the aged Kage and asked, "Wait, you know about them?" "I know of them because for the past 10 years the forest has become much more safer, and I had Anko look into it as she come in here a fair bit, and she said someone or something has taken over the forest as she has seen animal that should have attacked her left her be, but she never did find out who or what was not king of the forest. Then there had been times when someone who was trying to get away from our forces and came in here because of the rumors, so we left them be, but then the next day they was in front of the TNI building and they had said something about a tiger with wing and lightning and a large black wolf that travels through the shadows and is durable, and so I have sent ANBUs in here to find them, but they never found anything," Hiruzen said as the forest resident came to help the white tiger. "Well, I think we just found the queens of the forest," Kushina said, and she watches Okami get Kahaku onto the back one of the lions. Then a large beetle goes back into the forest, and a few minutes later came back carrying then Cocoon Mitsuki. "Well, I am all done," Naruto said as he stands up, then goes over to Okami and Kahaku and said as he pats their heads, "So you two have made a home in the forest of death, ha! I am so glad you found happiness." Then Okami barked and growled. Then Kurama flew over and said, "Okami said that while they did make a home for them, but they went truly happy as you weren't there. And they was sad as they thought you abandoned them, but now they know the reason why you weren't there, and when they was tasked with protecting the human with the scroll, they decided that no matter where you go they will follow you. Are you sure this is what you want to do after all this? Is you forest is home?" Naruto asked, but all head got in response was a lick on the cheek and a hug which he gladly returns then to his, and everyone surprised the animals except for the lion that had Kahaku and the beetle with Mitsuki. Dogpiled Naruto, seeing the deadly animals of the forest of death dogpile Naruto like they were harmless, made the old man smile. Then he remembers. "Oh right, Naruto, mind freeing the 3 shinobis?" "Right," Naruto said as he gets up. Then he frees the 2 shinobis, but they wasn't free for long as Okami had instructed the spider to encase the 3 of them in thread so they couldn't get away. Then as soon as they was secured on a large bear and Irika on the beetle, they started to leave the forest, and the animals that wasn't carrying anything scattered back into the depths of the forest. Once they was outside, they was met with a squad of ANBU as they tried to arrest Naruto, but before they could, Hiruzen said, "Hold it, there is no need to arrest Naruto as he was on a mission, and I had to give the illusion that I didn't know what was really going on so the real person behind it would make a mistake. Now I want 4 of you are to take Chunin Mitsuki and the 3 other shinobi that is on the bear and take them to TNI, and I want them questioned first thing in the morning." Which 4 of them nodded and did as instructed. Then Hiruzen continued, "And another one is to take Chunin Irika to the hospital for a once-over just to make sure he is fully healed and fit for duty, and I want a report and on my desk first thing in the morning." Then when another undid as instructed, then he and the rest of group headed to the vets for the same for the white tiger. After a couple of hours of 2 Orog health checks, Okami was cleared to do mission with Naruto while Kahaku was to take it easy for 3 days. Then they all went home and called it a night. The next morning in the Hokage office there was a Jonin meeting and Hiruzen said, "Alright then, now time to get the meeting started." Then a man with gravity-defying hair stepped forward and said, "I request I have Sasuke Uchiha, Sakura Haruno, and Naruto Uzumaki. May I ask why those 3? Hiruzen asked. "Well, isn't it custom to have the top shinobi and kunoichi along with the dead last shinobi on a team?" Kakashi replied, then thought. "Then on the first mission out of the village I can kill the demon. Well, I can give you Sasuke, but you are going to have to choose. Who do you want more, Sakura or Naruto?" Hiruzen asked. "May I ask why I need to do that?" Kakashi asked. "Well, let's just say that for everyone's I need to keep Naruto with either Haku or Kurasuchi or both, and also someone had made a request for him as well, so I need a good reason to put him with you." Hiruzen said. "I see," Kakashi said thought. "Shit, this isn't good as I don't have a good reason on how I can train the demon." Then he said, "Unfortunately, sir, I don't have a reason on how I would be a better sensei." "That's good, so you will be having Sakura Haruno and Naruto Uzumaki," Hiruzen replied. "Thank you, sir." Kakashi said before stepping back. Then a woman with ruby eyes stepped forward and said, Sir, may I request Hinata Hyuga, Kiba Inuzuka and Shino Aburame? Now that is an interesting combination. I take it you plan to make a tracking team, Kurenai? Hiruzen said. That's right, sir. Kurenai said. Hiruzen thinks about it for a moment, then he said, Granted, Kurenai. Then she stepped back with a nod. Then the Kage. Then he said, Asuma. Yes, Pops, a man said while having a cigarette. I have decided to let you have this generation of the Ino Shikacho. Hiruzen said. Thank you, Pops, Asuma said as he stepped back. Now is there any more wanting anyone specific? Hiruzen said. Then when no one stepped forward he said, Very well, you may all go, and I will decide it on who gets who. Then everyone left. Then when they all left, the aged Kage said, Don't think I don't know what you was planning, Kakashi. Then went back to the team placements a few hours later with all the newly graduated class was ready for what team they will be on, and Naruto had both Kohaku and Okami with him. But they were at the back of the classroom when Iruka walked in, and he was walking a bit stiff, which most of the class noticed. Then Sakura asked, Sensei, why are you walking a bit stiff? Well, Sakura, I was attacked last night, but someone healed me and now I am okay. I just have to take it easy for a week or so. Iruka said. Then he seized the tiger and wolf and said, I see you have them with you today, Naruto. Yeah, while they was following you, they decided to leave the forest and be by my side. Oh, and get this, these two are said to be the rulers of the forest. Naruto said. Iruka chuckled a bit, then said, Well, judging by how strong they are, I don't doubt that. As he remembered that there was 7 shinobis that attacked them last night. Then he asked, So how are they? Got pretty beat up last night. Sasuke turns to look at the 2 animals, then thought, If they are as strong as Iruka says they are, then I must have them. They are fine, though Kohaku can't do anything too strenuous for a few days. But I have an appointment in 5 days to see if can start training. Naruto said. That's good to hear. Iruka said before pulling out a folder, then says, Alright, now then it's time for your team placements. Then he starts reading out the teams, same as canon, but Naruto will take Naruto's place. And finally, Team 11 will be Naruto Uzumaki, Hakuyuki and Kurasuchi. Your sensei will be Kushina Uzumaki. Now please wait here for your senseis. Then he leaves. After 5 minutes had passed, Sasuke gets up and walks up to Naruto and waited for Naruto to say something, which got a laugh from Naruto's girlfriends because Naruto had his feet on his desk with his eyes closed. Then Haku said, Naruto, someone is getting impatient. Naruto eyes his eyes, then asked as he puts his feet on the ground, They are? Who are they? The moment his feet hit the ground he sees that it was Sasuke, then said, So what can I do for you, duck butt? Sasuke growled, then said, Give me the wolf, tiger, and you're at it the fox as well, because they are wasted on someone like you. That's right, give them Sasuke-kun, they would be better with him. Yeah, that's not happening because they are mine and I will never give them up now if you don't want me to hurt your pride a bit more, then goes away. Naruto said as his eyes glowed blue. Sasuke did as tell, but he was grumbling. Then he thought, If he isn't going to give them to me, then I am just going to have to take them, and maybe the council can help me with that. Haku and Kurasuchi was watching Sasuke and saw the look on his face, and they thought, He is up to something. Then they both looked at each other, then gave a small nod. Ino was looking at Naruto while thinking, What makes you and how came I? Am intrigued. Then she did something subconsciously and did a hand seal over her heart and whispered, Mind transfer jutsu. Inside Naruto Mindscape, Ino found herself on a courtyard that was in the middle of 4 temples, and each one had a symbol on them, and there was a lot of people. Then she asked, Where am I? I was supposed to be in Naruto's mind so I can try and get to know him. Well then, girlie, why not speak to him yourself, as we don't like it when someone invades our mind. A female's voice suddenly spoke, causing the mind walker to jump and spins around to see a woman in her late 30s/early 40s with cyan eyes and brown hair, and was wearing some kind of battle uniform with a fur around her waist. Who are you? How are you here when it's impossible to have something in a mind unless you're a mind walker? And how do you know Naruto? Ino asked. Well, those 2 questions have the same answer. I know Naruto like we all know him. You could say that we are his past lives. We was always there. Yo, keep the balance when the need arises. My name is Korra. Korra replied, then goes on to say, And it's best for you to go as your sensei should be arriving soon. And with a nod, Ino exits the mind with even more questions.